So in the previous session, if you remember how to create a class, so by using class keyword and class name, and since we are going to write a block of statements, right, it should follow the same indentation concept. So whatever you are going to write within the block, that should be in the same indentation. And so this method, so here we are going to call it as a method. And in the method, first keyword, mandatory keyword is self keyword and followed by required number of parameters in your method. So what is the difference between a function and method is a function, so which is anyone can use if they know the function name, means directly I'm able to invoke by using function name. If I write some calculator function. So if I know the function name, directly I can able to use. But here, first you need to create an object for the class and then you are able to access that method. And here self keyword is mandatory because there will be multiple objects if you create. In order to point it to the current object, we are going to use self keyword. And so whatever the variables, if you remember all these variables, for example, for each student object, if I create a student class where I can create a number of students as objects, for each object, name will be different, age will be different, or gender will be different, or something means maybe different or maybe same. So these values will differ for each object to object, right? That's why these variables we are going to call it as instance variables. Instance variables. Instance means for each object, the values may change. That's why we are going to call it as these as instance variables. And so the variables which we declare outside of all the methods and constructor, it is called as static variable. So what is static variable means this variable is constant for all the objects which you are going to create for that class. If I create n number of objects, but if you declare a static variable for all those variables, this variable is constant. For example, all the 500 or 1000 students in NIT Silchar, college name is always NIT Silchar. So in that case, what I can do is I can declare that variable as a static variable outside of constructor and functions, which is constant throughout all the objects. And so this is instance method. So again, same thing. Instance method means for each object variable. So for each object variable, so for example, if I create student 1, student 2, student 3, so for each student, it will be the different values. So like whatever the values I'm going to display by using display function, name may be different, age may be different, means based on the student object, these values may differ. That's why these kind of methods for each object, it will differ the logic. That kind of methods we are going to call it as instance methods. So what is an instance method means? The instance method is which is corresponding to that object, the values may differ. And for different object, the values may differ. So that is called as instance method. And how I am going to invoke these instance methods is by using, if I create an object called as, for example, student is my class and S1 is one student details and S1 dot display means it is corresponds to this student one. If I call with S2, that is corresponds to S2. And you can able to call this static variable by using this object. If you see S1 dot college name means it is NIT Silchar. If I create S2 and S2 dot college name also, it is constant which will not change. That's why we are going to call it as static variables. Static variables means the variable which is constant throughout your class. That kind of variables we are going to call it as static variables. So based on your requirement, when I need to declare static variable, when I need to declare instance variable means if the value is continuously changing for each object, then go for instance variable. If the value is constant throughout your program, then you can make it as a static variable. And instance methods also same. If the value is changing for each object, then you can go for instance method. And there is one kind of method called as static methods also there. So I will give some simple example for static method, and then I am going to start inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction concepts. So what is static method? So now you can understand what is static method also. Means by seeing the name of static variable, you can understand what is static method. A static method is nothing but irrespective of your object. Means if you create n number of objects, irrespective of your object, the method having the same uh, constant logic, means the logic of the method will not change. So for example, I have one method called as college details. So def college details, college details. So if you are NIT Silchar student, for example, you are NIT Silchar student, and there are 100 students or 1000 students in your college. All the college details like what is the college name and college location, all those details are the constant values, where means no need to change for each object. Means if you create n number of objects, the college details will be constant for throughout all the students in your college. Then what I can do is I can make it as a static method. So now we will see how to make it as a static method. So now next doubt is how to make that method as a, how I can distinguish whether it is a static method or instance method. So in order to make that method as a static method, there is one decorator you need to decorate on top of this method. So let us declare some method, class student, class student. And here, in order to make that method as a static method, you need to decorate with one keyword called as static method. So this is must in order to make that method as a static method. So on top of the method, you need to decorate it with this keyword add static method. Then whatever the method you are going to declare, that will become the static method. So def, let us say college details, college details. And here you may get question whether I need to pass self keyword. So one important note here is whether I need to pass self keyword. Whether I need to pass self keyword. The answer is no, because answer is no. Because it is static method. It is irrespective of the object, right? If you decorate your method with at static method, it is not related to any object. So there is no need of self keyword. Directly, if you have any parameters, name, let us say college name, and so something you are having college name and college location and so on. So these are not required any instance variables because it is not related to any object. That's why directly I can pass my required parameters. So just you need to remember what is the difference between static method and instance method. A static method which is constant throughout your class, the logic whatever you are going to write means irrespective of the object, it will be constant logic. So college name will be constant for all the students, college location will be constant for all the students. Or if you take employee information, if some employee is working in some company, means that company details are common for all the employees. So print name is, college name is, so something college name, and print college location, college location, college location, and so on. So whatever the constant logic is there, you can declare within this static method. And on top of this, if you wanted to declare any instance methods also, you can declare, but no need to declare this at static method. And you have to pass self variable if you are declaring instance method. So for example, student details, something I'm giving. Student details is method, which is a instance method I'm declaring. So self keyword is mandatory. Student name and age and marks. Something I'm declaring method. So print student name is student name, print student age is. And as I told, if you wanted to initialize these variables while declaring an object itself, then you need to write constructor in order to initialize these variables. So already if you remember our last session, so how to declare these variables through the constructor. So this is an example. While creating an object itself, if you wanted to initialize your variables, you can write a constructor where you can declare required parameters and you can initialize while creating an object itself. Or if you wanted to pass directly to the function also, you can pass like this. Usually in the program, the good practice is you need to write a constructor where you can initialize the required parameters at the starting of your object creation itself. Student marks are something marks. So what I'm telling here is a good practice of a Python program is means whenever you are declaring a class, it is better to have constructor where you can declare required variables and you are going to initialize the required variables at constructor only. So in case if you wanted to pass the parameters directly to the function also you can pass, but good programming standard is directly you can declare a constructor where you can initialize the required parameters at starting of the class itself. So this is static method. This is instance method. So this is static method and this is instance method. And next question is how to access that static method. So next question is how to access this static method. Instance method we know means how to access instance method. First I need to create an object. So let us say student is my class and what are the parameters. Here I didn't declare any constructor, right? Then no need to pass any parameters here. In case if you have the constructor, then you need to pass those many parameters here. And how to access instance method directly? Student one dot student details. I can pass the required parameters like student name, Mukesh, and age is 19, marks is something 89, something like this. You can see student name is this, age is this, and so on. And next question is how to access this static method. Either I can use object like this, college details, like so college name is NIT and college location is Silchar. So see here the difference between the static method and instance method is self keyword is mandatory here, but here no need of self keyword because irrespective of the object, these values are same means throughout this method, throughout this class, this static method is it is not responsible for particular object. It is irrespective of the object, which is common method for all your objects. Then we can call it as a static method. And one more way also you can access this static method. Let's try this and try to access this college details. You can see directly by using college means class name also you can able to access static method by using class name. You can able to access by using class name also by this static method. So this is about static method, instance method, static variable, instance variable, because whenever you are writing some classes and programs, you need to remember when I need to declare a static method, when I need to declare a static class, means when I need to declare a static variable, an instance variable, and instance method. Once if you know the basics of these class and object, next some advanced concepts in object-oriented programming are inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. So if you know the class concept, these are very simple concepts. So first you need to understand what is class, what is an object, how to create an object, what is instance variable, static variable, instance method, static method. Then these concepts are very simple: inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. So what is inheritance? Why we require inheritance? So until now we discussed a single class, right? Means only one class we declared in each program. So there is multiple classes in your program. So for example, there is multiple classes in your program, and let us say there are two classes. Let us take simple example. Class college is one class where it is having its own methods like faculty details. Faculty details is one method, and another class is something like another method like examination branch or admin branch, which is common for all the students in a class, admin branch, and so on. So let us say these are the methods in college. And let us declare one more class called as class student. Class student. So for every student class, so these are the details, right? Means which I require faculty details or admin branch details, because every student, if they wanted to pay the exam fees or something, they wanted to know the branch admin branch details where they can go and collect the forms and so on. Means for every student, so these faculty details, admin branch details are same. So for example, in addition to student details and student marks or whatever functions, student details and let us say student marks is another method. You are having some student class and college class. If you logically think, whatever the faculty details and admin branch details, those are also required in student class. So these faculty details, because if the student want to know the faculty details or admin branch details, these are also required in my student class. If you see, if I don't use this inheritance concepts, I will tell you what is inheritance concept. If I don't use inheritance concepts, let us say there are multiple classes. Let us say class, let us say some library. Another class we can declare library. And library is also having some logic where each student may access library at least once or twice or many times when he is going to college. So whatever the library details, and those also may require here in the student class. What happened is, if you create n number of student objects here, unnecessarily every time these logic I have to repeat without using inheritance concept. So what is inheritance concept is acquiring the parent class in. So simply I can define inheritance, acquiring the properties of a parent class, properties of a properties of a parent class in child class. In child class. So what is my requirement? Without declaring, means without writing the same logic multiple times, what is my requirement? if I make this college class as a parent class, so if I make this college class as a parent class, and if I make this student as a child class, so how to make we will see with an example. So if I make this student as a child class, then what happened is whatever you are going to write the logic in the parent class, everything will be available to your student class. Very simple concept. Inheritance is nothing but acquiring the properties of a parent class in child class. So without writing multiple times same code, what you can do is you can declare it as a parent class and you can inherit that parent class to the child class. Whatever the methods, variables you are going to declare in the parent class are available to your child class. Let us take very simple example. Let us take your parents and you are the children. So whatever they are going to earn, so parents are earning, let us say some 2 BHK flat and some money in bank balance and so on. Whatever they are having, all those properties, student can, I mean, children can use all those properties, right? Very simple concept. So whoever the son or daughter, they can use the parents' properties. Similar concept is applicable in Python programming. If I declare a parent class, and I can use that parent class in my child class. So next question is how to make it as a parent class and child relationship in Python programming. So what I'm telling is I can declare two classes here. So let us go to Jupyter Notebook. So class college and another class is class student. Class student. So these are the two classes. And let us having some methods like def college details. And so since I'm writing the method in a class, right, self keyword is mandatory. And let us say something I'm writing print. I'm writing NIT Silchar and print. So it is having CSE, triple EC and so on. Triple EC, mechanical, civil and so on, lot of branches. So these are the college details. And let us say one more function, faculty details. Faculty details. Let us say print, it is having some XYZ number of students. Still, I didn't return the complete program, right? That's why it is giving error. So by mistake, I pressed shift enter. So that's why it is giving error. Okay. So faculty details, so many means whatever the number of faculty, XYZ number of faculty in NIT Silchar. That may be 100 or 200 or 1000 number of faculty in your faculty NIT Silchar and so on. This is college details class. And let us declare one more class, class student and student details. Student details is another class, another method. So let us say student name and branch and so on. So just I'm writing one college class and one student class. Student name is name and so on. So print branches branch. Now what I am telling is if I make this college class as a parent class, then I can able to use these methods. Now, if I don't make it as a college as a parent class, I cannot able to access these methods. Let us try. Currently, what I did is just I declared two classes. I didn't made it as a parent class or child class relationship. What I can do is I can create an object s1 equal to student, and s1 dot student details I'm able to access because its own class methods, right? I can able to access like Girish is student name, and I don't know the branch, just I will give some XYZ branch. So let us say here, so student name is Girish. This is fine because this method is there in this class. And if I try to access the method, until unless if I don't make it as a parent class, I cannot able to access. So see here, college details I'm trying to access. You can see student object has no attribute, college details. And then next question is how to make the parent class and child class relationship. Here is very simple. Whatever the method, whatever the class you wanted to make it as a parent. So I wanted to make that as a parent, right? How to make that parent is, so for the class which you wanted to make it as a parent, so use this parenthesis. Inside parenthesis, pass the class which you wanted to make it as a parent. So here, nothing but how you can declare, how you can inherit one class to another class is class name. So child class name. In parenthesis, you need to give parent class name. Nothing but what is the meaning of this student of college means whatever the means, nothing but here I'm not writing faculty details or college details. By default, if you inherit, all these methods are available to your student class. Let us see by creating an object student1 equal to, so something, I will create an object student. So I'm creating an object for student. Now, what I'm telling is, initially visa, I'm able to access student details. So that is fine. So I'm able to access student details. Like, let us say student name is Sudeshna and branch is, here also I don't know your branch, right? Just I will give something ABC branch. Because it is its own class method, I'm able to access. Now you can see the power of this inheritance concept. I will try to access faculty details. So because this method is not the method in this student method, but I can able to access faculty details because it is inherited. So takes one positional argument, one was not given. So what positional argument? Because self keyword is mandatory, right? If you forget, definitely it will give an exam error because you can see one argument is mandatory. That's what I'm telling, right? Even if you don't pass any parameters, self keyword is mandatory if you are declaring instance methods. Now execute it again. So faculty details. You can see XYZ number of faculty in that college. And you can try to access college details. You can try to access college details. You can see NIT Silchar and it is having so many branches and so on. So here you can see the power of our inheritance. Just what I did is I made it as a parent class for the student class. So I made college as a parent class to the student class. Then whatever the properties in your parent class, methods, variables, whatever you are going to declare within this class, all those are available to your children class. So just normal our parent and children relationship, same thing will be applicable for your parent class and children class, child class. Now I hope this inheritance concept is clear. So very simple concept. This is parent class and this is child class. I'm able to access all parent methods variables in your child class. Very simple concept. In order to access, you need to make that as a parent class. So how to make the parent class? Within parentheses, you need to give that parent class, which you wanted to use it as a parent class. Now we are having different types of inheritance. Maybe we'll get one question, I can inherit multiple classes. Here you are giving a single class, how to give multiple classes. That we'll see next examples. Here in this example, one parent and one children only I have given. Maybe we'll get questions means how I can access multiple children's, multiple parents. If your class, multiple children classes are there, multiple parents classes are there. What are the use cases for those? We'll see with an example. So first we'll start with what are the types of inheritance. So single level inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. So types of inheritance, single level inheritance, single level inheritance, multiple inheritance, multiple inheritance. I will tell you a simple use case for these types of inheritance when I need to use what kind of inheritance. Multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, single level, let us say multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance. So single level means very simple. Whatever the example we discuss now, that will be single level inheritance. A single level inheritance means a single parent and single children. A single parent and single children. Single children. Children class or child class. Single child class. Nothing but one parent class and one child class. This kind of relationship, we can call it as a single level inheritance. Single level inheritance. Inheritance. Now we will go to multi-level inheritance. If you understand single level inheritance, then multi-level inheritance is very simple. So single level inheritance means a single parent and single child. Whatever there in the parent class, you are able to access in the child class. That is the concept of single level. Next, multi-level means it is something like grandparent, grandparent class, parent class, child class. Multiple levels, parent class and child class. Child class. See here, grandparent, parent, and child class. Now you can think what I can access in which class. So first thing is, if you declare a grandparent and parent and child, now you need to think at what level I can access what properties. So if you declare a grandparent and parent and child class, what it will happen is child can able to access higher level of classes, like it is able to access all the methods in the parent class as well as child class. For example, you are having your grandparents and your parents having lot of properties. You are the child, you are able to access means you are able to use your grandparents properties as well as your parents properties, right? Similar concept is applicable. If you declare some methods in the grandparent and if you declare some methods in the parent, this child class is able to access all the methods of your parent class and child class. And what parent class is able to access means it is able to access its own methods as well as grandparent methods. And what grandparent can able to access means it is able to access only grandparent methods. So see the level how I can able to access what methods is child, it is able to access child methods, parents methods, and grandparent methods. It is able to access its own methods, parents methods, and grandparents methods. And what is parent class will do means it is able to access parent class methods and grandparent methods. Grandparent methods. And grandparent, it is able to access only grandparent methods, not vice versa. Means if the grandparent wanted to access parent class methods or child class methods, it will gives you error. Similarly, parent class, if it is wants to access child class methods, it will gives you error. Only above classes it is able to access. Below classes it is not possible to access. And when we will see one simple use case here. Let us go to our Jupyter notebook. Let's take same example. And I will add one more class. I will add one more class called as class branch. Class branch. And branch is inheriting college. Branch is inheriting college. And print, I will write simple method. Branch details is another method. So self keyword, branch name, and let us say number of students in each branch, each branch. You can write a number of methods in each class. So just I'm writing one or two methods, right? Later when you are practicing, write related methods. You can implement related logic in each class and method. So branch name is branch name, and so print number of students, number of students, number of students is number of students. Now what I will do is I will make this branch as a parent to this student class. So what I did here is, here I declared grandparent as a college, grandparent as a college, and for branch class, I'm making college as a parent. Nothing but here branch is child for the college class, but here if you see for student class, I made it as a branch as a parent. So don't confuse which is parent class, which is child class. Nothing but first I declared college class, and for college I made branch as a child, and for branch I made student as a child. So these classes you are able to understand, right? First I declared a college class, and I made college as a parent to the branch, and I made branch as a parent to the student class. Now you need to think what methods I can able to access, what methods I cannot able to access. If I create an object for student class, so see here, first I will execute this. If I create an object for the student class, s1 equal to student. So I have created an object for student. I can able to access student methods. So because its own class, right? I can able to access student methods. That is, let us say Mukesh and branches. Here also I don't know branch. Just I'm giving XYZ. And since branch is parent class, I can able to access branch details. I can able to access branch details. Let us say branch details method, branch name and students, number of students in branch, XYZ branch, and number of students. Let us say some 180 students in the branch. And what I'm telling is previously we saw it is able to access parent methods. Now what I'm telling is if you declare a grandparent, nothing but no need to give here college as a parent here. By default, I'm inheriting branch college to the branch, right? By default, it will come college also here in the student. Nothing but I can able to access faculty details as well as college details, faculty details, and as well as student that is college details. So no need to call means again no need to inherit here. By default, it is inherited to the branch. Nothing but this is available to the student also. So this is possible way. Means I can able to access parent methods, its own methods, parent methods, and grandparent methods. Now think of creating a object for branch. So if I create an object for the branch, b equal to branch, something I'm creating an object for branch, I'm able to access branch details because its own method, right? Its own method I'm able to access. So it's not going to give any error. Branch name XYZ and number of students, let us say 180. So it is able to access its own methods. It is able to access its parent method, that is college details and faculty details. So actually, if you practice again after the class over, then you can get more information. Means now while listening, it may be you can easily understand, but you need to practice all these examples. Then you can get more clarity what what these inheritances are doing. You can see it is able to access college details as well as faculty details. But if I try to access student details, so B dot. So let us try to access student details. It is not possible because I am not inheriting student to the branch. So let us say student details. I will try to access and student branch is some XYZ branch. So try to see in these two, it will not give an error. But if I try to access student details, then it will gives you error. So you can see branch object does not have student details. Maybe I have given some. Okay. So method name also correct. Okay. So just I'm seeing some spelling mistake. That is fine. But the concept is very simple. If I try to access student details, then definitely it will gives you error since it is not the it is not inherited to the student. So means higher levels it is not possible to access, but lower levels I can able to access. Very simple. This is the level, right? College is at higher level, branch, next to student. A student is able to access higher levels like branch and college. Branch is able to access college, but lower level like student, it is not possible to access. Similarly, if I create an object for the college, it is able to access only college methods, but not branch and student. If you want, you can try to create college equal to something. I'm creating one object for college. It is able to access college details method. So it is able to access college details method. And so if I try to access either student details or branch details, definitely it will gives you error. So let us say branch name is XYZ and number of students is let us say 500 or 400. You can see it is able to access college details. But if I try to access branch details, it will gives you error because I'm not inherited branch to the college, right? Means vice versa, it is not possible. From higher to lower, it is not possible. But lower to higher, you can able to access all those methods. Very simple. Children may not give his properties to the parents, but parents always gives their properties to the children, right? Same rule is applicable here. Parent class, it is able to provide all those methods and properties to the children class, but children class will not give any access to the parent class. So this is about multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. Next, we are having multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. So what is multiple inheritance is multiple parents and single children. Multiple parents and single children. And very simple multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. Multiple parent classes, single children. Multiple parent classes and single children. Very simple. See here, it will have parent 1, parent 2, or multiple parents, parent 1, parent 2, parent n, and but it is contains only single children class. So this kind of relationship we can call it as a multiple inheritance. Let us take our general example. Mother is one class and father is another class. Whatever they will earn, means mother is also doing job and father is also doing job. If they earn some bank balance or some duplex villa or car and bike, whatever they will earn, so mother properties and father properties, both children can able to access, right? Similar concept. If I have multiple parent classes, all the parent class methods you are able to access in the children class. Very simple concept. Multiple inheritance means if you have multiple parents, you are able to access all these methods in the child class. But vice versa, it is not possible. If the children is having something, these parents not able to access. So similar case, for example, if the children is earning something, possibly children may not provide, or father and mother also not interested to take because they are only providing the properties to the children. So similar concept, if you declare some methods in the parent, children is able to access, but children will not be, means children will be able to access, but if the parent wanted to access the children method, it is not possible. Very simple example. Let us say faculty is working in two branches. Let us say some subject, mathematics subject. Very simple example, mathematics subject. Faculty is from mathematics branch. So mathematics branch. So he may go, means if any mathematics subject is there, definitely mathematics branch people will come and teach. Either it may be triple E or ECE, mechanical, whatever it may be. If it is a mathematical subject, definitely mathematics branch faculty has to come and teach in their other branches. Let us take another example. Let us say CSC people, C programming or any programming subject. Initially, in first year, we will having C programming, right? C programming usually it is taught by CSC faculty. So CSC faculty, they are going to multiple branches. Branch 1, triple E, ECE, mechanical, and so on. Triple E, ECE, mechanical, civil, CSE, and so on. They are going to teach and multiple branches and faculty from CSC branch. So faculty, if they are teaching for multiple branches, definitely they have to access the number of student details or any details from the branches, right? Even if it is different branch, faculty is from CSC branch, but he has to access the information of that branch, like how many students registered for that programming, how many writing the exam, they have to evaluate the scripts, means they have to access the branch information. What I need to do is I need to make these branches as parent to this child class. Very simple concept. You can see some simple example. Class triple E is one class where you are having very simple method. So I can take simple example. So let us so let us say this is triple E branch and mechanical branch is another class. So let us so triple E is one class, mechanical is one class, and civil is or EC is another class, and so on. You can declare a number of branches. And what I will do is I will create one child class. So like class faculty. And now the question here is how I can inherit multiple classes is very simple. Take the classes which you wanted to inherit. In parentheses, you need to give comma separated value. So triple E, mechanical, ECE, and so on. So how many classes you wanted to inherit? You need to give all those classes as the child classes. And now what is the powerful concept of inheritance is since I inherited triple E mechanical ECE, this faculty class is able to access whatever the methods, variables inside these classes, it is able to access all those methods. So let us say def faculty details. So self keyword. So print teaching C programming, something I'm writing. So I written one simple method faculty details teach something I'm printing here. And if I create an object for faculty, F1 equal to faculty. So what I'm telling is how many number of parents you are inherited, you are able to access all those methods. Let us say, and first it is able to access its own methods like faculty details, and it is able to access EC branch details, ECE branch details, mechanical branch details, and so on. And here, before continuing, there is a same method, right? That concept we will cover it as an method overloading and method overriding. So initially, what I will do is instead of just the same name, I will rename it as triple E details. So don't worry about if I give the same method name, what it will happen, how to access same method name, that we'll see in the polymorphism concept. Currently, just I'm renaming these methods for better understanding this concept. Later, we will see if the same method name is there, how to access that we'll see later. So just in order to complete this concept, just I rename this is triple details, mechanical details, and EC details. And let us say I'm able to access EC details and EC details. Let us say branch name is ECE and number of students registered for C programming is 140. Let us assume, and I can able to access mechanical details. I can able to access other details like mechanical details and mechanical number of students. Let us say 150 students, and I can able to access triple E details. Since it is a uh, inherited class, right? I can able to access all those methods. So this is triple E, and let us say 130 students registered for C programming. teaching C programming, branch name is EC, and number of students, branch name is mechanical, branch name is triple E, and so on. So what is here we are doing is we are inheriting the required classes here. This kind of inheritance we are going to call it as multiple inheritance. Multiple parents and single child. This concept we are going to call it as multiple inheritance. So this is one of the question you may get in interviews. Actually, in Java, .NET, multiple inheritance is not supported. Multiple inheritance directly not supported in Java or C, .NET and so on. Here in C, Python, it is directly supporting multiple inheritance. If they ask the question whether the multiple inheritance is supported in Python programming, the answer is yes. And you can say you can show them simple example how you are able to access multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance, multiple parents and single child. This is multiple inheritance. And we are having multiple inheritance already we covered single level inheritance, and there is one more concept called as hierarchical inheritance, and finally we'll see hybrid inheritance. There is one more inheritance type, that is hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. Inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. What is hierarchical inheritance? Means opposite to this multiple inheritance, that is hierarchical inheritance. So what is hierarchical inheritance is single parent and multiple childrens. Multiple childrens. So for example, if your father and mother having some 2, 3 children, they are able to all are able to access parent classes, right? Parent methods. A similar concept. If the parent is having multiple child classes, child 1, child 2, child 3, and so on, child n. So all these children are able to access parent methods. So when exactly I require, we'll see the same example here. And let us take the same example. So let us say branch. I will take a single branch, uh, a triple E branch. Let us say in triple E there are multiple sections. Triple E, A section, B section, and so on. Multiple sections. Triple E section 1 and triple E section 2. So triple E section 2 and triple E section 3 and so on. So there are multiple sections. So section 1 details, triple E 1, triple E section 1 details. So let us say number of students in triple E section 1 and whatever the variables you wanted to declare, you can declare number of students. So triple E section 2 and triple E section 3 details and so on. So triple E section 3, and what I will do is I will inherit it triple E for all these sections. Means if you are the same branch student and in your branch multiple sections are there, so then parent class will be your final branch, that is triple E branch, and child classes will be triple E 1, triple E 2, triple E 3 and so on. Because all the branch details are same for your. So for example, triple E section 1, number of faculties in your triple E branch, number of subjects that, or what are the subjects in your branch, all those are common to your triple E section 1 or section 2, section 3, right? So same concept. If single parent, multiple children's concept, if you declare a parent, all these parent methods are available to your children class. So if I declare an object for triple E 1, So if I declare an object for triple one, so I am able to access triple one methods. That is triple one methods is triple section one details. For this, let us say number of students. So there is no branch I'm passing, right? Just I can remove this print statement. So here you need to understand which class methods I can able to access, which class methods I cannot able to access. I will show you. If you create an object for triple one, so you are able to access triple one details as well as its parent methods, that is triple methods, that is triple details branch. So let us say triple and number of students will be around, let us say 600. So it is able to access its own methods as well as its parent method. So n students don't have this. Okay, triple one details. Okay, so here we are passing number of students as input, right? Let us say for this triple one section, first section, let us say 140 students. So number of students and total number of students. Maybe just I'm not changing these print statements or logic. Just you can change and practice. And see here, I have created an object for triple one. It is able to access this triple branch details as well as triple one first section details. But vice versa, it is not possible. So this triple, it is not able to access its child's methods. If you create an object for triple and if I try to access triple section one details, if I try to access triple section one details, so number of students, let us say 140, then it will gives you error because triple object triple section one is not inherited to triple, then it will gives you error. So parent is not able to access child class, but child can access parent class. And so you may get one more doubt here. So I have created an object for triple section one. Can I access triple section two details? So one more doubt here is, if I created an object for triple section one, so E1 is created for triple section one. So, for section one, I have created an object. I am trying to access triple section two details. So it will also gives you error because it is not inherited, right? So for triple section two, I didn't inherited any triple section one. So then it will gives you error. So because if you see, only inherited class for triple section 1 is triple, but not triple section 2. If I try to access triple section 2 details, then it will gives you error. So what you have to do is, after this class, just go and take Jupyter notebook, whatever I am going to upload. Just you need to try all these scenarios. Create an object for one class and try to access another class. If you inherited, then it don't give any error. If you not inherited, then it will gives you error. Very simple concept is, parent is not able to access its children class, where children can able to access parent class methods. So this is about multiple inheritance, and this is hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. What is hierarchical inheritance means? Single parent and multiple children. So hierarchical inheritance, single parent, multiple children's class. And the last type of inheritance is hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance. So hybrid inheritance means, in a single concept, whatever you are going to implement, that inheritance may contains multiple while implementing that your requirement. So whenever you are implementing some requirement, in that requirement, it may contain multiple types of inheritance like multi-level, multi-level as well as multiple or hierarchical and so on. So first I will give an example, then you can able to understand. So let us take our previous example. What I will do is I will take multi-level inheritance example. So let us take multi-level inheritance. So college student. So where is multi-level? So here college. So this is multi-level, right? Okay. So multi-level. So what is my requirement here is my requirement. So branch is college is inherited to branch and branch is inherited to student. Up to this, so what is the relationship between college is inherited to branch and branch is inherited to student? So it is multi-level. So in this concept, I am having multi-level. And in the branch itself, I'm going to declare multiple classes for different branches. CSC and the branch is inherited. So print def CSC details and branch. So just pass self keyword and branch name and print branch name. Branch name is branch name. And similarly, I can inherit. I can create one more triple E and triple E details. So if you see here, the requirement is college and branch and here student. So first it is something like this. We are having college. In college, I have inherited this to branch and branch is inherited to student. So up to this is multiple inheritance. Again, what I did is I have created two more classes. So that is, so what are the two classes? CSC branch and what is another branch I have created? Triple E branch. Here for branch, I'm making it as a parent. And if you see, if I take college, branch, and just student, this is a multi-level. And again, this single parent and multiple children's, this inheritance is hierarchical inheritance. So in a single implementation, I'm having multi-level, multi-level, and hierarchical, multi-level and hierarchical. So this kind of inheritance, we are going to call it as hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance means combining multiple requirements and implementing multiple types of inheritance in the same concept. Then we can call it as a hybrid inheritance. And again, so what I'm telling is create an object for different classes and try to see which is able to access which one. If I create an object for CSC, it is able to access CSC and only its parent class, that is branch. And also college is the parent here, right? Grandparent, it is able to access college also because branch is having college is inherited. And if you see the student, it is able to access a branch and college. So just what you need to do is you need to experiment creating objects and you can see which I need, which I'm able to access, which I'm not able to access. Very simple concept. If it is a parent or grandparent, it is able to access. If it is a single, means if it is not the if it is not having any grandparent or parent, then it is accessing only its own methods. So main thing you need to remember is if it is a child class, it is able to access its parents and grandparents. If it is a parent class, it is not able to access its children class methods. So maybe you can execute this example and create an object for each class and see which you are able to access, which you are not able to access. This is hybrid inheritance. This is hybrid inheritance. You can write n number of examples, like let us say company is one example and employee is another example. And in company, we are having multiple projects, project 1, project 2, project 2, and so on, n number of projects. What I can do here is you can see here what kind of inheritances you are having. So for example, I am inheriting company to the project 1 and project 2, and project 1 and project 2 I'm inheriting it to the employee. So a single employee may sometimes has to work 2 or 3 projects once if you enter into the company. So initial days, maybe during fresher or some less experience, they may assign one project only. But if you are the manager level or team lead level, you have to manage multiple projects. So if you see here, company project 1, project 2, it is a single parent and multiple childrens. Single parent, multiple childrens. This is hierarchical inheritance. But if you see project 1, project 2 employee, that is multiple inheritance. So multiple parents and single children, multiple inheritance. In the simple concept, we are having multiple and hierarchical and complete concept, we are going to call it as hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance. So this completes what types of inheritance in our Python, how to work with those kind of inheritance, and you can practice these examples. You can get to know what type of inheritance when I require. If you get a requirement from the client or if you get a requirement from your project, and whenever you are developing your classes and objects, definitely this inheritance concept will help you. Main concept of inheritance is reducing the repeated code. Means instead of writing the same code multiple times, whatever the reusable code, we can keep that into the parent class. So the main concept of entire inheritance concept is reusability. The entire concept of this inheritance is reusability. How you are going to reuse the code means whatever the common code. So common code, keep it in parent classes, common code, keep it in parent class, and you can create child classes based on your requirement to reuse that parent classes by inheriting the parent classes. And based on your requirement, you can create a number of classes, and based on your requirement, either you can use single level or multi-level or multiple inheritance or hierarchical inheritance or hybrid inheritance. This is the complete concept about how to create a class object inheritance and how you are going to create multiple types of inheritance in your class. And next, one more advanced concept in object-oriented programming is, so I will try to cover at least polymorphism today. Abstraction we will see in next session. So polymorphism. So what is polymorphism and how it will work? Polymorphism. Poly means just now if you see in the previous example, if the method name is same, just to finish that topic I change that name, but sometimes you will get the same method name. Or so how to access those kind of methods in classes or parent classes, child classes, if you are having same method names, what we are going to call the concept that we are going to discuss now. So poly is nothing but many. Poly is nothing but many. Morphism is nothing but forms. Morphism is nothing but forms. Simply, I can say many forms. In simple words, I can say polymorphism is nothing but many forms. And if you wanted to see a simple example, many forms, very simple examples for polymorphism is plus operator and star operator. So how I can say this plus operator and star operator will support polymorphism is, we'll see with a simple example. Let us say if I take A equal to 10, B equal to 20, and if I do C equal to A plus B, and if I print C, so here plus is performing addition operation. Here plus is nothing but addition operation. Addition operation. If the same thing, if I apply between strings, let us say first name equal to Ishwar, Yaganti Ishwarudu, and my surname is that is last name equal to Akyam. So wait, still I didn't finish. Akyam. So if I apply that plus operator between two strings, so print full name equal to, here what it will do means it will concatenate those two strings. Here the plus operator is called as concatenation operator. So same plus operator only. Between integers, what it is doing? It is performing addition. Between strings, it is performing concatenation. So same plus operator exhibiting different forms, then we can call that as a polymorphism. In classes also we are having that concept. We are going to discuss that concept with an example. If you see, it is not doing y is nothing but y plus a, it has to give x, y. That means it is not doing something addition operation like if I do 10 plus 20, it is giving 30. But here, between strings, it is doing concatenation. So same plus operator, it is doing two functionalities, that is addition and concatenation. Addition and concatenation. So this kind of functionality, we are going to call it as polymorphism. Polymorphism. So same plus operator between numbers it is performing as addition. Between strings it is performing concatenation. Then we can call it as a polymorphism. And similar to this, star operator also performs multiple formats. So between integers it will perform multiplication. So if I do C equal to A into B, A into B, if I perform this, it is performing multiplication operation. Multiplication operation. So if I print C, that is 10 into 5, 50, you are going to get the output. But same thing, so let us say name equal to Ishwar. If I apply name into 5, what it will happen? Name into 5. So if I apply name into 5, you can see Ishwar is repeated 5 times. Here star operator is performing repetition operation. Repetition operation. So same star operator between integers, it is just multiplying those two numbers and returning the answer. That is multiplication operation. If I use the same star operator between two strings, it is the repetition operator. What it will do means it will repeat those strings those many number of times. If I want Ishwar 100 times, I need to apply. I need to print Ishwar means just name in 200, then it will repeat name multiple times. So if I repeat 100 times, it will repeat my name 100 times. So if I want 1000 times, just name into 1000. So here repetition operator, here multiplication operator. So if the same thing executing multiple formats, that we can call it as a polymorphism. In our Python, we are having some concepts of polymorphism like method overloading, method overriding, operator overloading. So those concepts we are going to discuss now. So we are going to discuss something. What is method overloading? What is method overriding? Constructor overloading, constructor overriding. So what are those examples? We are going to discuss something about all these things. So mainly two concepts, overloading and overriding. Overloading and overriding. Overloading and overriding. And what is in overloading? We are having method overloading, method overloading, method overriding, method overloading, constructor overloading, and operator overloading, operator overloading. And in overriding, we are having something method overriding, method overriding, and constructor overriding, constructor overriding. So these concepts we'll see with simple examples. What is method overloading and constructor overloading? What is operator overloading? And we'll see with an example. And I think you understand first of all what is polymorphism means many forms. So now we can see what is method overloading means same method performing multiple operations. So first concept method overloading, method overloading. So what is method overloading is same method performing multiple operations. Same method performing multiple operations. Multiple operations. Same method performing multiple operations. So like if you take Java or C or .NET or other programming languages, there is a concept called as based on the parameters you are going to pass, it will invoke the corresponding function. So for example, same addition function, if I pass two integers, it will perform the addition of two integers. If I pass integer and float, it will perform addition of integer and float. If I pass four integers, it will perform addition of four integers. Let us say three integers. How it will identify which function I need to invoke is when you are invoking function with the corresponding parameters. Let us say if I pass 10 and 10, since 10 and 10 are the integers, which syntax it will invoke? Syntax 1. So in the syntax 1, I have integer and integer, right? It will invoke syntax 1. If I pass three integers, 10, 20, 30, so which syntax it will invoke? Third syntax it will invoke. And if I pass add 10 and 10.5, so which syntax it will invoke? Syntax 2. Means in other programming languages, it is very easy to implement this method overloading. So same method performing different operations, that is called as method overloading. But in Python, if I write the same method to perform the multiple operation, definitely you will get error. So first we'll see this concept and then how to achieve this method overloading in Python that we are going to discuss now. So I will take 5 or 10 more minutes so that we can finish polymorphism. Only the pending thing will be abstraction that we can see in the next session. So I will try to cover up this polymorphism in this session. So let us say class, let us say calculator operation. And so I'm having def add function. So let us say a, b are the two parameters I'm passing, print a plus b. So this is one function I declared. I am declaring another function. So if it is a class, right, definitely what you need to add, self parameter you need to add. And let us try to add another method. So what is my requirement is I'm going to pass three integers. It has to perform addition of three integers. If I pass four integers, it has to perform the addition of four integers in class. So what I'm doing here is same method. I'm trying to add two integers in first method, three integers in second method, four integers in third method, and five integers in fourth method. So see here, if I create an object for calculator, so C equal to calculator. So I have created an object for calculator. And if I try to access first method, actually as per other programming languages, based on the number of parameters I'm going to pass, it has to invoke the corresponding syntax. But what it will happen in Python is it will not support directly this method overloading. So what it will happen is if you declare the same function with multiple parameters, it will consider only last syntax. It is going to consider only last syntax. Consider only last syntax. It is not going to consider the previous syntaxes like two integers or three integers or four integers. It is not going to consider previous syntaxes. It is going to consider only last syntax. The limitation here is if you declare multiple methods in same class, it will consider with the same name, then it will consider only last syntax, not the previous syntaxes. Then you may ask the question, then how I'm going to implement this method overloading in Python. And if you remember during our functions classes, we discussed something like default parameters, and variable length parameter. During our functions, we discussed this default parameters, variable length parameters. So default parameters means if I wanted to perform addition of these five variables, but if I pass two variables also it has to take, if I pass three variables also it has to take, if I pass four variables also it has to take. If I pass all the variables, then it has to use all these five variables. So then how I can declare is first way is default parameters, where I can declare some default values. So C equal to calculator, C equal to calculator. And if I pass C dot add two values, then it has to take. If I pass three values, it has to take. Same concept, whatever we done in the functions that is applicable here. If I pass 3, it has to take first 3. If I pass 4, it will take 4. If I pass 5, it will take all the 5 and then it will complete the required operation. You can see, so first I pass 10 and 20. Remaining all the remaining 3 values, it is going to assign 0. And if I pass 3, remaining 2, it is going to assign 0 and it will take first 3 values. And the restriction here is, since my method is having 5 variables, and if I try to pass 6 or 7, then it will gives you error. Same limitation as we discussed in normal functions. So since my method is having 5 variables, I am passing 6 variables, then definitely it will gives you error. So in that case, if you wanted to allow variable length, you can allow variable length similar to functions concept. So you can allow variable length. That is how you are going to write variable length means star n. So you need to declare the variable name as star n, and this n will retrieve the values as a tuple. On top of the tuple, you are able to perform the required operation. So see here, what I can do is I can able to pass one value, two values, or three values, n values based on your requirement. C dot add 10, C dot add 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You can pass n number of variables. There is no restriction here. So takes one positional argument, but 8 were given. What is the problem here is C dot add def add C dot add 10, 20, 30, C dot add 1 to 6 positional arguments. So self star n. So print n. So usually it has to take as the variable length. So just give me a minute, I will check why it is giving error. Here, method overloading. I can pass a number of values, star n, self keyword. So maybe, yeah. So just wait, because I didn't created an object here, right? First, I need to create an object. What it is happening is, it is taking the old object. In the old object, it is allows only up to 5 parameters, right? That is the problem here. So what we need to do is, we need to create an object for this class. Once if you execute an object, means if you create a class, but I'm using the old object. If you use the old object, definitely it is having the old logic, right? So now I can able to send 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 values. How many values you want? C dot add and 20 n number of values you can pass. You can pass a number of values, but here, as I told, it will retrieve this n as a tuple. Once if you get the tuple, you can use for loop or something to read all those values, and then you can perform the required operation. This is method overloading. Method overloading means same method name with a different functionality. If I want, then I need to use either default parameters concept or variable length parameters concept. Same concept, constructor overloading also. In Python, only one constructor is allowed. Means if I want, in other programming languages, something like I can declare, like if you have some idea about Java.NET, if you don't have idea also, no need to learn. Means here, what is the concept is, if I declare one class, as I told in Java.NET, so what is the constructor name? Class name will be the constructor name. So here constructor overloading is also allowed in other programming languages. If I pass two parameters, I can able to install two parameters. If I pass If I declare my constructor with 3 parameters, I can able to initialize 3 parameters. If I declare 3 parameters or 4 parameters, based on the number of parameters I'm going to invoke my constructor. So while initializing, if I invoke, if I pass 2 parameters, which will invoke the first syntax. If I pass 3 parameters, it will invoke the second syntax. But in Python, what is the problem here is, so let us take instead of normal method, what I can take it as constructor. So what I will do, underscore underscore init underscore underscore. So only one constructor name in Python, right? We need to use underscore underscore init underscore 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 init underscore underscore. So what it will happen is, if you declare multiple syntaxes of the constructor, it will consider only last syntax. It will consider only last syntax. If I try to create an object for calculator, so if your class is having constructor, right, then you need to pass those many parameters. Let us try to pass only 2 values. Then you can see C, D, and E are required. So because I am having, it is taking only last syntax I'm telling, right? It will initialize only these 5 variables. If you don't pass these 5 variables, then definitely will get error. Even if you pass 4 also, will get error. So let us say 30, 40. Even if you pass 4 values also, it will give you error by saying E is missing. Then what option we have in Python is, we can use either variable length or default parameters concept. Instead of having multiple syntaxes in the constructor, what we can do is, we can initialize these values with the default values. We can initialize with the default values, so that nothing but we are implementing the same concept like constructor overloading. Same constructor with different times. If I pass 2 parameters, it will take 2. If I pass 3, it will take 3. If I pass 4, means same constructor performing multiple operations, but explicitly we are not implementing by using the concept like variable length or default parameters we are using to implement this concept. The print A is A, so print, so B is B, and so you can print remaining all the values. And you can see, if you pass 2 parameters, it will take 2 values. If you pass 3 values, it will take 3 values if you are having default values. So print D is D, and print is E. So if you create an object for calculator, so previously, if I don't pass the required number of parameters, what it is giving? It is giving error, right? So now what I can do, I will initialize only A. So remaining all the values, what values it is going to take? B, C, D, E, it will take 0. If you see, A, B value is something, and E value is 0, B value is 0, C value is 0. If I pass 2 parameters, or let us say 3 parameters, then it will take those many values. And if I pass more than this, then I will get error, because default values will support only equal to the number of parameters. So if I pass 6 parameters and see, it will gives you error by saying you are giving more number of expected than expected parameters. Then again, if you implement star n, that is variable length here, so same concept, you can implement variable length concept star n, and so based on the values, so based on number of parameters, you can print that value, it will come it as a tuple. So here you are going to get it as a tuple, and once if you get the tuple, you can reuse that tuple whatever the operation you are required. So this is about method overloading. Method overloading. So what I can do is I can stop here. I will finish this method overriding and abstraction, and if possible some database concepts in the next session. So we'll discuss, instead of continuing this session, I will continue this method overriding and database programming in the next session. If you have any questions, you can ask now.